go and let Kelly and Rose talk. I have a couple of handouts. I'm going to talk about what was at this corner. It's kind of interesting to see what was, what isn't, and what could be. So I'm going to let Kelly say a few words.
John, the best. Thanks so much for being here today. And we love sponsoring events and opportunities like this for community members to come around and talk about what are the possibilities. So as we go through this walk, one of the things I want to encourage all of us to do is to really examine this whole thoroughfare that we're going to go through as a visioning opportunity. To take a look at what is the potential, because those are the things that we want to fight for. You know, we think that our waterfront has so much potential. It's one of the most beautiful waterfronts in the city of New York, and it's not reached its potential yet. And there's so much there for us to offer.
But it's not open to the public.
So as we do this walk, John is going to give us some wonderful information, and so is Rose. All I encourage us to do is let's communicate beyond this session, hopefully, and talk about what possibilities are so that we can come together with an environmental justice agenda for our borough. Our borough has a lot of big needs as it relates to climate change, environmental justice, and a lot of it has to do with just teaching each other, you know, our neighbors a little bit about, you know, climate change and environmental justice and, you know, what are the possibilities for land use. So we want to use that as an opportunity to really rally for that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for being here.
Just to talk about what was here on this one corner and kind of see how over the years different city entities, there was disenfranchisement overall from different stages in the history of New Brighton. So the history of New Brighton. So New Brighton is behind you. We have, and I want to acknowledge Lindy Gusto from the New Brighton Citizens Committee, and we are on former lands of the Lenape, so the Native Americans, which predate anything I'm going to talk about, but they would have fished, used the waterways. This is the this is the Kill Van Kull. You all know that's New Jersey, and these were extensive waterways. The branches of Lenape went roughly from the Delaware Bay all the way up to the Connecticut River Valley. And on Staten Island, the branches were the Hackensack Native Americans that came down the Bayonne Peninsula, the Raritan, which was the southern end of the island, and the Canarsie kind of had the east shore. So here would have been the Hackensack that came and occupied. And they all used it as summer homes. They would come, and it was rich in oysters. The Hackensack controlled all the waterways that go up to New Jersey, the Passaic River, New York Bay. The Raritan would control the Sandy Hook and the waterways, the Navesink, the Raritan, and then the Canarsie actually controlled, or they were in the Narrows, and they would come across from mainland Long Island, which is now Brooklyn. And Miss Rose.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here. We advocate for a kind of land use that you really don't see here today. If you go back years ago, you know, the pathway that you're going to see here on Bank Street, it used to be a place where you can go and go to the park. There used to be exercise equipment. There used to be a small playground for kids. There used to be a lit waterfront pathway where you could see the boats going by. There used to be a place for the community. But in the years since then, disenfranchisement and to a large degree, the work of Robert Moses, if you go way back, has really, caused the degradation of Bank Street, and also the disenfranchisement of the entire neighborhood surrounding it. But we believe that through collective action, you know, one, that Bank Street can be brought back, and two, that this entire area can be, you know, that we can see more green spaces, more safe spaces to walk and bike, and that this area can be a stronger community through collective action. And so it's events like these that I hope will spark that. But in the meantime, you're going to find a lot of information today that I hope will spark more interest going forward.
The zoning changed in the 60s to become manufacturing. So prior to that, you had storefronts, you had the Star Theater, and there was a thriving community. After the estates were subdivided, this was so in the teens forward, there were buildings very much like this and this. The Star Theater stood right here. I'll pass this around. So that served the whole greater New Brighton community. So this was titled New Brighton, St. George, and Tompkins, because we're walking that way. We're going to start to walk. So even right here, there were buildings. We're going to pass the Staten Island Rapid Transit System. There was a subway, there was a stop at the foot of Westerville. It's in one of the photos if you look. To the picture on the left, to the right, with the small little peaked roof, that was the entrance to it wasn't a subway, it was just the train line went right down here. When that went away, again, as Rose said, Robert Moses entered, and there was this push like, oh, it's all industrial. He made a lot of the parkways. There was talk about making a parkway along the North Shore, roughly along what Richmond Terrace is today, to get folks from one end of the island to the other without regard for the neighborhoods that he would bulldoze or divide. So let's take a walk, and we'll focus on what's here now. What?
Should we walk like in pairs as a smaller group so we don't?
Unfortunately, nobody's using it, as Rose said, anymore.
Please ask questions.
And happy Mother's Day!
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
This is really just, as I say, you have to know where you came to know where you're going. So if you have any questions, please ask. We're going to try to keep it roughly about 2 hours. We're going to end around Hannah and Bay Street, so you can make your way back on the bus. Unfortunately, there's no train to make it back, so